two-dimensional, flat, and closed objects that use lines that cross over one another, therefore making a shape. There are different types of shapes, including geometric, irregular, squares, circles, triangles, rectangles, diamonds, ovals, and hearts. And shapes can also include organic and natural shapes, as seen by the leaf below. Texture is used when you can tell what something feels or looks like based on the painting. There are two types of texture. They are real and implied. Real is how much something actually feels like in real life, as seen in this tree with the moss growing on the tree. This moss actually exists in real life. Form is an element of art that is normally three-dimensional, unlike shape that is two-dimensional. For example, form can include spheres, pyramids, and cubes. Form also surrounds or encloses volume, and you are able to walk around it. For example, this statue can serve as form because you can walk around it and it exists in a three-dimensional form. And as you can see in the painting of the bird, the shadows and value make everything in the painting pop up as 3D. Art also exists in time. Time implies change and movement. Movement implies the passage of time. In other words, movement, whether it's real or it's just an illusion made by the artist, is a crucial element in art, even though we may not be aware of it. An art may have actual motion in it, like a car moving or a person walking, or it may incorporate the illusion or have some form of implied movement. Pattern is a principle of art. It is a combination of elements or shapes repeated in a recurring and regular arrangement. Pattern is used symbolically to represent many things, which include people, beliefs, the natural world, history, and tradition. The colors and shapes used have specific meanings and are passed down from generation to generation. A pattern can be predictable, which is important in establishing a tradition and cultural practice. Rhythm is like a pattern. Shapes and lines are repeated, however, within rhythm there are slight variations to the pattern. Rhythm is easily perceived, but it is quite complex. Think of water on a beach. It continually breaks on the shorelines that are repeated, yet each one is different. Rhythm can also be understood within music. Rhythm represents our desire for order. Rhythm is like our own heartbeat. It gives a sense of pulsing for life. Balance is a principle of art, which refers to the distribution of visual elements of art and how they offset one another. Humans feel more comfortable when art is balanced or where pieces of artwork seem to balance one another. Imbalance seems to annoy us and gives us an unsettling feeling. And this is something artists do not strive for. However, some sense of balance is purposely disturbed. There is another type of symmetry, and that is radial symmetry. Radial symmetry is symmetry around a central axis, as in starfish or a flower. Emphasis is a principle of art that can be defined as an area or object within the artwork that draws attention and becomes a focal point. Subordination is defined as minimizing or toning down other elements in an art piece in order to bring attention to the focal point. The focal point refers to the area in the composition that has the most significance or holds the most attention to the audience. It is sometimes the most physically appealing piece, or it may be the least physically appealing piece. It is whatever catches the eye of the audience. Unity in an artwork creates a sense of harmony and coming together as a whole by using similar elements within the art piece and placing them in a way that brings them all together. Variety adds interest by using contrasting elements within the composition. Line is an element of art that is defined by a point moving in space. A line may be two- or three-dimensional, descriptive, implied, or abstract. A line may be curvy, wavy, straight, diagonal, and all in all, the lines come together to form many shapes and sizes.
Space is an element of art by which positive and negative areas are defined, or a sense of depth is achieved in the piece of art. Space can totally change the image to be two different things. For example, one could see a vase in this image, or two faces. It is completely up to the positive or negative space. Color is an element of art which is made up of three properties. These properties are hue, value, and intensity. Hue is the name of the color, while the value is the hue's lightness and darkness. Intensity is the quality of the brightness and purity. The intensity of a color is strong and bright, while low intensity is when a color is faint and dull. Value has to do with the lightness and darkness of tones or colors. White is the lightest value, while black is the darkness. The value halfway between these two sides is gray. The last principle we will discuss is contrast. Contrast is a way of combining elements to stress the differences between these two elements. In other ways, like emphasis, it is made to make one color or one object stand out.